We welcome you back with our business report with Joel Crosskill.
Lots to share with you in the business report today. Emerging from Epoch's report on the economic reform program. For the review period April to July 2024, central government operations resulted in a fiscal deficit of $34.3 billion compared to a budgeted deficit of $53.4 billion, which was higher than the $18.4 billion deficit recorded for April to July 2023. Of note during the review period, for the first time since August 2019, the BOJ's Monetary Policy Committee eased its monetary policy stance, reducing the rate by 25 basis points to 6.75% per annum. The reduction means that commercial banks and other deposit-taking institutions can commence lowering the rates at which they offer loans and other lines of credit to consumers to spur domestic activity. However, concerns about the rate of transmission to those institutions were described by President of the MSME Alliance, Donovan Wignall.
The BOJ did reduce its interest rates by 25 basis points. But the problem I think the BOJ has is the latency with which that exists in the transmission of that reduction to the banking sector. I think there's a 6 months timeline for the effect of the reduction of the interest rates take effect in the banking sector. I think that is way too long. I think when interest rates are increased on the BOJ side, it transmits to the banking sector a lot quicker than when it's reduced.
During last week's briefing, Chairman Keith Duncan shared that Epoch is strongly encouraging the optimizing of the fiscal and monetary policy mix, while advocating for a more aggressive easing of monetary policy and interest rate reductions to maintain macro-fiscal stability and to proactively move Jamaica back into the medium-term growth range.
How do we look at growth in Jamaica? And how are we going to ensure that we have the right mix of policies to drive growth in Jamaica, stabilizing that range of 2%. That is where we're projected forward, even the fiscal policy, the low growth range. What takes us out of this range? What takes us out of this range? Increased productivity, cost of doing business. That takes us out of this range. What we also see is the labor markets are tight. We see that 66% of our workers have no certification. Therefore, when we look at investments that we attract to Jamaica, they made a low value added jobs that were added because we don't have the skills here in Jamaica.
Mr. Duncan, who is also CEO of the financial conglomerate the JMMB Group, also pointed to some of the regulatory burdens the sector is experiencing that may also be inhibiting more robust economic activity.
We already know that the capital adequacy ratios are going to be increased on 10 to 12%, and then this other additional cost, which is inside of the legislation that will be discussed by the majority of the committee. The government of Jamaica and the Bank of Jamaica need to be very careful that they don't push people to the limits and they don't push away capital. Because if you make it expensive to do business for your financial institutions, then intermediation becomes more expensive, and that is passed on to the consumer. Right? And in terms of increased lending rates and increased fees, etc. So there needs to be that balance and dialogue with the financial sector, bankers, security dealers, insurance associations, to ensure that we're finding the right balance.
Sustaining that equilibrium will soon become part of the remit of a new Minister of Finance, following the exit of Dr. Nigel Clark to take up his position as Deputy Managing Director of the International Monetary Fund. It's not the only expectation the Epoch Chair addressed relating to the as yet unknown new minister.
The new Minister of Finance that will step into that role. I believe the institutional architecture with an independent central bank, the fiscal commission, the public sector rationalization being in place in terms of the compensation structure, the next round of business for the new finance minister is performance management and increasing productivity of the public sector.
And that was your business report. I'm Joel Crosskill.